channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. It's a pencil dress with a kimono part at the top that is wrapped. So the first thing you're going to do is to cut out your skirt part. So I'm going to be starting with the skirt part. So basically it's just your your normal pencil skirt. So all you have to do is to fold your fabric into two, like I've done here, using the widest part of your lower body, which is your hip, right? So the hip divided by 4, the hip measurement is the widest measurement for my lower body, so I'll divide it by 4. So the hip I'm working with is 48, divided by 4 is 12. I added 1 inch to it for my seam allowance. So that's why I have 13 inches, and as you can see, the fabric is folded into two. This is my back panel, my front panel, but I'll still split open the back panel here. So now I'm using I have 13 inches of width here. So now I'm going to start inserting my measurement. So the length of the skirt depends on you. So basically you're going to measure from your shoulder to where you want the length of the dress to be, and then you're going to subtract your half length from it. So that's going to be anything that is left is going to be your skirt length. So my dress is supposed to be about 40 inches of length. I'm going to subtract 17 inches from it. That's my shoulder to my knee is what I want the dress to be. Subtract 17 inches from it. I have 23 or so left. So 23 is going to be the length of this here, plus extra 1.5 inch to it. 1 inch for folding the end and half an inch for joining the top part to the body of the dress. So now we'll start inserting our measurement. So the first thing you're going to do now is to put in your waist. So this part is where I'm going to insert my waist measurement, which is 34, divided by 4 is going to be 8.5. I'm going to be adding 2 inches to it, 1 inch of darting and 1 inch of seam allowance. So that's going to be 10.5. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to measure from my waist down to my hip, which is about 10 inches down here. And then I'm going to insert my hip measurement, which is basically the fold of the fabric. My hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1, that's 13 inches. I mark it here, and then I'm going to bring down this all the way to this part here, and then you're going to come down 1 inch from here, mark it in a straight line so that you don't connect the end of the skirt directly to this point. So now the next thing you're going to do is to, because you want it to be a pencil skirt, right, this 13 inches that you have at the hip, or whatever measurement you have at the hip, subtract 1 from it and bring it down here. So I'm going to bring down 12 here. So I had 13 at the hip. I'm going to bring down 12 here, because remember, this is your thigh, and you don't want your thigh narrows from your hip to your thigh, it narrows. So that's why you have to also narrow it this way. So you're going to subtract 1 inch from your hip measurement. So I'm going to mark this now and cut it out. So guys, the next thing we are going to mark on our hip here, on the waist here, is the your dart. So you're going to measure your nipple to nipple measurement. For me, that's 4. I marked it here, and then I'm going to bring it down here. But you're going to stop 2 inches before your hip. Remember, like I said, my hip is at 10. So it's going to stop 2 inches before that, which is at 8. So my dart is going to come down here, half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side, and then it's going to go down here. The same way, I'm going to transfer this dart all the way on the 4 sides of this skirt, right? Because it's folded into 4, 2 on front, 2 at the back. So I'm going to just notch it here so that I know that that's it. So I'm going to just mark it here, notch it here, and then I'm going to split open the back so that I can be able to. So guys, I split open the back so that I can be able to insert my zip. So this here is for my zip, about 1.5 inches. So now we'll move over to the top part. So guys, this is it here. We are starting with the front panel, so you just have to pay attention so it will not be confusing for you. So the first thing you're going to do is to fold your fabric into 2, right? This is going to be a an overlapping top part. It's like a wrap top at the top, right? Wrap top, but kimono also. So what you're going to do is basically you're going to mark out how you're going to get the width of your fabric. First is you're going to mark out what will be the overlapping part. So it's 4 inches that I'm going to be using. This 4 inches is going to be overlapping each other. You know how you cut a wrap dress, right? So that's what I'm going to be using this 4 inches for. So you see, I marked it out. So I'm going to be, it's like almost like I'm going to forget about this 4 inches and draw in my normal bodies in this remaining part. So now what you're going to do is to go ahead now and check your shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 16, divided by 2 is going to be 8. So that's going to be my shoulder. Remember, you see, I'm starting, like I said, forget about these 4 inches for now, and all your measurements, mark them from this point. So you see my measurements, I'm starting from this line. This distance here is that 4 inches that is going to be overlapping for my wrap, right? So all my measurements are starting from this straight line that I marked down here. So my shoulder measurement divided by 2, 16 divided by 2, 8. And then the next thing is my sleeve is going to be about 8 inches. I marked that here, but then I also added extra 1 inch for my seam allowance for the sleeve. That's to fold the end of the sleeve. You can use a turnover sleeve. You can use any sleeve you want. As you can see from the picture, one of the thumbnail has a longer sleeve. So if you want a longer sleeve, then you need more fabric. So your sleeve can go up to 15 inches from here now, and then you just add extra 1 inch for your folding the end. It depends on you where you want yours to be, but my sleeve is going to be the shorter one on the picture. So that's going to be 8 inches for me, 1 inch for joining for folding the end. After that, the next thing you're going to mark is your shoulder to your bust, which is going to be here, 10 inches for me. So it depends on you. It depends on you what your shoulder to your bust is. And then the next thing you're going to mark now for this here, the length here is going to be your shoulder to your waist plus 1 inch. So my shoulder to waist is 17.5 plus 1 inch is 18.5. So now after that, this is the length of this is going to be where the waist is going to fall in for me, right? So now we are going to start inserting the measurement. So the first thing you're going to do is to come down to this. You're going to come up here, mark 1.5 first. This is going to be your shoulder slope. You can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5, but I'm going to be using 1.5. The longer the sleeve, the more you will need. So if your sleeve is even shorter, just use 1 inch. But if it's longer, then you might want to use 1.5. And then from there, you're going to go up here and mark your 3 inches of neckline. And then you're going to connect this 1.5 to this point here, this way in a straight line down to where this 1.5 is, right? After marking this line, remember this is our neckline. So for now, I'm just going to give it the normal basic 3x3 neckline. So you're just going to join your normal neckline for now. So now the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead, come down to this line here, put in your bust measurement. Like I said, my bust is 42 divided by 4 is going to be 10.5 plus extra 1 inch is going to be 11.5. Mark that here. Come down to the waist, insert your waist measurement. My waist is 34 divided by 4 is going to be 8.5. Mark that here. Add extra 2 inches for your darting and seam allowance. So that's going to be here. And then from here now, you connect it up to this point, just like how you normally do. Connect it this way. If you want to use your ruler, just connect it straight down like this. So now, after that, you're going to give it a curve at the armhole. Just curve it because you don't want this sharp end that connects directly to this point. Just give it a curve inside of this part. So basically now, this is the opening of your sleeve. So now coming to this part here, what you're going to do is, remember this part is going to be going inside of the one of them is going to be overlapping the other. So what you're going to do is to come up here. So guys, now you're going to come up here by about 1 inch or 1.5, and then you're going to connect it up to this point of your 3 inches neckline. Connect it like that. If you want, you can go in if you want your cleavage to show, or you plan on wearing like a vest underneath it. But I'm just going to keep it straight for now until when I finish cutting it. And if I feel like the neckline is too high, I can always go in and make it deeper. Than if you feel like the neckline is too low, you can't bring it back up again. But it's better for it to be too high, and then you can reduce it. So that's it. Now I'm going to just go ahead and cut this out. Over to cutting the back. So this is what the front looks like after cutting it. So you guys can see this is the neckline. Let me open it up. So this is basically it here. So you see the sleeve. This part here is the sleeve, and then this is the body. This is the part that will overlap. And then there's another thing you can also do, is just to come in here by 1 inch or by like half an inch, and then you're going to blend it up to this top part here, because that's what a kimono always looks like. Kimono end is not like this, it always goes in a little bit. So you just have to go ahead and cut this out like this. This is what the end of a kimono sleeve normally looks like. It's never you will find that my sleeve at the beginning of the video is a little bit tight on me. So if you want yours to be loose, what you have to do is just to, instead of cutting using your shoulder to your breast point and then marking that to be your armhole like I did here, all you have to do, if you want yours to be exactly like the thumbnail, come down your shoulder to your breast point, which was this line where we insert our bust measurement and all. Don't do that here. Just come down 2 inches somewhere here and then use this part to be your new armhole. So instead of cutting from this line now, you're going to bring down yours like this. So the opening of your sleeve will go up all the way like this and then come down this way. So this will now be the new opening of your sleeve, and then this is the body. So it will open up this end more. If you want, you can even come down 2.5. It depends on you and the type of fabric you're using. As long as it's not a fabric that is too starchy, that will not drop. Because once you do that, then when you relax it, it will just fall over like this. And try to make the sleeve a little bit longer. Because if it's open, when you raise your hand, you can see under your armpit. So try to make it at least like 10 inches so that it can drop. That's if you want the opening to be wide, try to make it in such a way that it is a little bit longer so that it can drop that way. So that's basically, now it's the same way that we did the back part, the front pattern. We are going to be cutting the back pattern, except this time instead of the overlapping, because remember there's no wrap at the back. The wrap is supposed to be like a basic body, except this time there's going to be a zip going up at the back. So basically the same way is how I measured my back panel. I just measured 1.5 here for my zip. My shoulder measurement is the next thing. So from that line of my zip, I measured my shoulder measurement, which is 16 divided by 2, 8 inches. And then after that, I insert my sleeve length, which is 8 inches plus extra one, which is supposed to be 9 inches. So that's how you're going to get the width for the front also. So the only difference here is that instead of using 4 inches here, I'm using 1.5 because this is a zip. But in front, we used 4 inches because of the overlapping in front. So now if you want, you can also use this here to trace your front pattern. All you have to do is just to fold away this part here, fold away this 4 inches, fold it away, and then use it here to cut out your, fold it away and use it here to cut out your back panel. So just follow that same line. Follow this line, cut out your shoulder slope, cut out your sleeve, cut out this part here and go down. So guys, now that I've cut it out, all I have to do is to cut out my back neckline. And remember, your back neckline is going to be just 1 inch below, nothing more than that. And then that's basically it here. So you see, all you have to do now is, let me open it up and show you guys. You see the way I folded away that 4 inches. If I open it up now, so guys, if I open it up now, one will be here, and then this one here is going to overlap. And guys, remember, you're still going to put in your dart. So I'm going to show you guys how you're going to put in the dart. But just before that, this is what it's going to look like for now. So you see, and then the back panel is going to come in, and but you see, I pinned down the back panel. I pinned away the dart part so that it will just look something like this also. So you see what it's going to look like. So it's going to be at the back this way, but except with a zip. So you see, I pinned it down for now. So, but before that, we are going to put in we're also going to put in our darting for this. So guys, all you have to do for the darting, you see this line of my 4 inches before the extension. All you have to do is to come in from that line, mark your nipple to nipple. For me, that's going to be 8 divided by 2 is 4. Come up here 1 inch before my bust line. So this is my chest line. 1 inch before that, somewhere here, I'm going to mark in my dart this way, and then I'm going to mark ½ an inch on each side and then connect it this way. So this is going to be my dart on the 2 sides of the front, right? So all I have to do is to go to the sewing machine, pinch it down and sew it all the way like this, and then it's going to give me this dart here. And the same thing for the back. All you have to do is, you see your center line from the zip allowance, right? From the center line of the zip allowance, all you have to do is just to go ahead, come inside from that center line, the same 4 inches that you used in front or whatever you used, mark that here. But this time around, your dart is going to go up all the way to the chest line. This one stopped 1 inch before my bust point, right? But this one is going to go all the way up to where that chest line is, which is here. And then the same way, you're going to mark 1/2 inch on each side, and then you're going to connect it that way. So that's going to be your dart. I'm going to just notch mine at the point of that 4 inches, so that I know that once I go to sew it, all I have to do is to just pinch it out this way on a sewing machine and just keep my hand straight and dart it this way. So that's basically how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick my darts, join the two shoulders together, and come back. Go ahead and joined it now. So you see how I finished up the inside. I just want a hint of this color to be showing, so I flipped it inside of this here. But you can make yours like a turn-up sleeve with a different color or just the same color. I already have a video on how to make a turn-up sleeve. So, and then I also use Akara fabric on the inside just to line it like how you use your bias. The same thing on this side of the sleeve. So now the next thing I did is just to move that 4 inches in this way and overlap the other 4 inches the other way. So now I've joined it this way, you see. So now my top is done. All I have to do is to take it now and then join it to the skirt. So this is the skirt here. You see the zip allowance for the skirt. So all I have to do now is just to join this bottom part here to this bottom part here, and then at the back I'm going to insert my zip. So I'm going to put in this zip at the back. This is my skirt. All I did was just to put in my dart, sew the side, and then leave my zip allowance at the center back. I also have my 2 darts here, and then there's my zip allowance here. So all I have to do is, I still have the pin holding the back together. So all I have to do is just to remove this pin here from the center back, and then I can be able to put in my zip at the center back here. So guys, all I have to do is just to put in the zip at the back, join this here to this here, and then put in my zip. This is it here. Mine is done. I also made a belt for it, for the waist. So that's basically, like I said before, if you want yours to be open at the sleeve, just bring it down. Instead of using your shoulder to 10 inches like I did, or your shoulder to your breast point, you can come down, instead of like how I explained before, just come down like 2 inches below your bust and then connect it. That will help your sleeve to be more open and drape. But I didn't do my own like that because I wanted the end of the sleeve to be a little bit snug. So that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. Bye. So